Alright, this was the Welcome to Introduction to Programming Logic with Language. This is the first day, and CIS 125, and today is 8/25/14. Alright, we did some busy work at the beginning of the class. We introduced the course. The basics of that. I go by Mr. Dirksen in class. We talked about that. And then we went through the syllabus briefly. So students need to do that. And I will post some introductory things to remind people what they need to be doing for the class here. So looks kind of crazy. Alright, so here we go. We talked about, not very much, talked a little bit about hardware. You know, the actual equipment that makes the computer run. We'll talk about little tidbits of that probably almost every day, just to make sure we're all on the same page, and people that are ahead of others in class, they can talk a little, help us fill in the gaps. Software is the big thing we're interested in. Okay, software allows us to use hardware to solve a problem. And the problem could be a zillion different things, if a zillion is really a number. There's just so many places we use software now to do particular tasks, to make life easier, to make it more fun, to make it more interesting, to make things way safer. Okay, software. So to get started, software, we write code. Okay, a person writes code in some particular language to get the computer to do something. In that code, we could write a script, or you could write some object code that eventually is compiled into an executable. What we're working on in this class is the design for the code. That's our thrush, programming logic. Now we're going to use some language or some multiple languages to test our code, but the idea is you can design a solution and then apply it to different languages in order to finally get an executable program that does what you want it to do. A couple goals: that it actually executes, and there's no logic errors. It gives us the correct answer. And in most software, if it's well designed, it will run efficiently for years if it's well designed. Okay? Page here. So we've already talked about languages, right? Have different languages. We mentioned some languages: C++, Python, Perl, Java, JavaScript, and the list can go on and on. I showed in class today a little script, a script that added people to a server, added group of people to a server. And it contained multiple things that we will learn about in the class. Okay, we also ran a small executable called PuTTY. You can download PuTTY. From putty.org. You can download PuTTY, and it is a fully executable piece of open source software. So it doesn't cost anything, and you don't have to install it on your computer. So if you want to get rid of it, you can just literally delete it. So it's all executable stuff. So somebody using some language created some code. Can't see it right there, but you can see it. Created some code And then they compiled it into an object code. It was compiled. Okay, actually, we'll talk more about that. And eventually they created an executable. The compiling actually is a couple things. You actually compile it to an object code, then it's linked into an executable. We'll cover the details of that a little more on Wednesday. So PuTTY is a small program that actually, it's a terminal program that allows us to access a server. So this is the server we accessed. In the classroom, we use this IP address to access the server. And students use their last name, first initial, and then I gave them a password to use in the classroom to log into that server. So we were here in the classroom and we logged into this server, and then it was responding to each of our machines in the room. Okay, we're going to use the server to write some code. We'll write some code on that particular server. We'll write some code on that server. Okay. Now, on the last page here, if you're at home on a computer, you can download PuTTY. And if you're connected to the internet through your internet service provider, and so you get PuTTY from some other cloud connected to the internet, goes to your computer. Now you can run PuTTY there to access our server here on campus. We create a translation where this number and this number translate to each other. So when we leave campus, it translates to this number. When it comes back into campus, it translates back to this number in order to access this server. So if you're at home, you can type our public IP and then log into the server from home. So you'll be able to access this server from anywheres that you would have internet access. If you're using an Apple, you can use the terminal on Apple to do some of the same stuff. And if you don't know how to do that, I'll have to give you a few instructions, but you might already know how to do that. So you can literally go from your house to this server and have it respond back to you. Okay, so you can do some work on that server from any location. And that is it for the work for the first day.